It was so unserious. What if we ask you to cut off all your hair? And the judge was like, okay, okay, that's enough. He did not even want to see my walk. He judged me. Honestly, I was really intimidated. Dig me an underground hole and I'll just go inside. And then I went to the washroom and I cried. Hello and welcome to my channel. Today it's time for another story time. How I went to a beauty pageant and it sort of changed how I am. I mean, it had a huge impact on me, even if it was for just maybe a week. For understanding how weird it was for me to go into a beauty pageant, you need some context. So, due to my height, I was always asked to audition for fashion clubs or fashion shows when you are in +2. So that's when all the fests and all begin, right? And you get introduced to fashion shows in school. Again, I am 5 feet 9 inches tall. So because of that, I was asked to audition for some sort of fashion show that was going to happen in a fest or something. I auditioned for it very badly. But then the people who were taking the audition, they were like, yeah, fine, we'll groom you, you just walk. So the next day when they had come to class to call me for practice, I hid under the bench. I think it was because I was very underconfident also as a person. I was insecure about how I looked, how my figure was and all those things. And maybe because of that, I was unsure of walking on a ramp. After that, when I was in college, there was a fashion club, and when you are in the first year, then you are asked to audition for some clubs, to join some clubs. So again, obviously because of my height, I was asked to audition for this particular fashion club. So when I was asked to audition for it, I did go to the room, and when I saw others auditioning, like they had to walk a certain way, I chickened out. I just came out of the room and left. Later, the coordinator had asked me why I had done that. Then I just said that I don't like fashion shows. There's no girl who does not like fashion shows. But anyway, this is the context. So now you might be thinking how a person like this would enter a beauty pageant, because that is like very far away from my wheelhouse. Up until now, how I have described myself, I'm not a beauty pageant person, right? So after I got a job, I think in 2019, an ad came out in a Bengali paper that they were looking for, I don't remember the tagline. It was something like they were looking for a fresh face or a pretty face or something like this. Basically, a pageant. It was from A Shamay. So, A Shamay is the Bengali newspaper of Times. And I didn't even see the ad because I don't think our generation reads newspapers. So, I think first my father saw it. And he told my mother that, I was seeing something like this just as a joke, because my parents think that their daughter is very pretty, which may or may not be true, but it's great to have supportive parents. Anyway, he saw this ad and he told my mother that what if we enter her name into this contest? I am fully unaware of all this. So then my mother comes to me and she is telling me that there is this contest. You don't have to do anything, just enter your name and see now what happens. First, when she said this, I was like, why? She was like, if not anything, it will build your confidence. Just see na. I think she understood I was a little underconfident. I don't know. So she sort of pushed me into entering this contest, and I didn't have to do anything. It was like there was an online portal, so I had to upload 5 of my recent photos over there. And obviously, I did not have any portfolio photos or anything like that. I just uploaded 5 photos which had been clicked recently. Maybe I had gone out to dinner somewhere or something like that where I'm dressed up nicely. I have uploaded 5 photos like that. Obviously, with no expectation. And then I have forgotten about it. So then one fine day, I think I was returning from office. So I used to return from office via a bus, and that bus came at 7 p.m. So while I was boarding that bus, I received a call from an unknown number. So I picked it up and they were like, yeah, so we are calling from the Deepti team. So the pageant's name was Deepti, Aishomai Deepti. So we are calling from the Deepti team. You have been shortlisted. You need to come and audition at JW Marriott. And they had asked me to go the next day. I was like, what? Totally unexpected. But anyway, I was obviously happy. The only issue was they had asked me to come during office hours. So it was a working day. I remember it was a Friday and they had asked me to come during office hours for an audition. So obviously I was not going to take a leave for this. So I just called my lead and said that tomorrow I'll be coming in a little late. Obviously I didn't want to miss out on the opportunity, but also I did not want to miss work because of this, because it was so unserious. Then the next day I went in. My parents also went with me. And so we thought that we would have a family day out or something like that. And then from there I would go directly to office. So I was dressed also like that. And it was, since it was a Friday, at office at least it was business casuals. So essentially I was dressed in business casuals. I just had put on a little bit of makeup. At that point I knew nothing about makeup. I had put on lipstick and some kajal, and I thought that I had done a lot of makeup, and I went in like that in business casuals, obviously with no expectation of what the event would be like. So when I went in, first thing, it was happening in the discotheque of JW Marriott. I forgot the name. Gold. It was in the basement of JW Marriott. So I had no idea of what the event would be like. When I went in, I saw that people were like all dressed up, and like they were fully prepared for what was going to happen, and they were aware of what was going to happen, more importantly. And I have just gone in with my business casuals and with no idea of what to do. So when I went in, there were 100 people. So I was shortlisted along with 100 others, 99 others, and all of them were like walking around, practicing their walks, practicing what to say when they were going to interview you. And I've gone in and I am completely clueless. There were like these cubicles, and in them there were sofas. And so I, along with my parents, were sitting there. And on the opposite side, there were some other girls with their parents. Everyone was young, so I think parents had tagged along. So I am an introvert. So basically, that is why I couldn't do fashion shows or anything. I think that is a major reason why. I'm not a full-fledged introvert. Like I can speak when required, but when I have to approach someone and when I have to socialize on my own, I'm very bad at that. So when I went in and saw all this, I got a little bit intimidated. And I think it was showing on my face. We had serial numbers attached to our names, and they were calling us serially. So when my turn finally came, I was waiting in line, and there was like this cordoned off section where the interviews were happening, but it was happening over mic, and there were speakers. So in that area, I could hear what was being asked, and the interviewers were actually grilling the people. So they were asking, why would you think that we would choose you? What if we ask you to cut off all your hair? Would you be okay with that? Questions like these. So see, since there were no stakes involved for me, I was listening to these questions, and it felt a little funny. But when I was just the next one in line, and they were actually like judging people based on their walks also very much. When I was just the next in line and I was standing there, I was feeling a little bit nervous because that's just human nature. I went in and they asked me to do a walk. Like there was this board, and then I had to walk up to their desks and turn around and then go back again, and then again come back, something like this. They asked me to walk, and I walked up to their desk, and then I turned around and I was about to walk back, and the judge was like, okay, okay, that's enough. And I was like, shit, already? Give me an opportunity to speak at least. Obviously, they had to ask every contestant questions. So they asked me, what do you do? So I said that I'm an IT professional, whatever, whatever. They asked me, why did you choose Deepti and why do you want to come to this field? So I can't tell them that I didn't choose Deepti, I don't want to come to this field. I can't say all this, right? So I told them that, yeah, I've heard that Deepti is actually a great platform to launch people into their modeling careers. What modeling career? Who was planning for a modeling career? But anyway, I had to say that. I had heard that this is a great platform and I would get great exposure. So that is why I have chosen Deepti. And then they asked a few more questions like, why should we select you? So I said that I come from a different field, so I bring in a fresh perspective to this career. All of those bullshit I said. And then they were like, okay, fine, you may go. I was 100% sure. There's no way I was getting selected because what were these answers? They did not even want to see my walk. Like I walked halfway and they were like, okay, okay, fine. So, so I was sure that I wouldn't get selected. The only thing going for me, I thought, was my height. So if they select me, it would only be based on that. And I got a participation certificate, like you have been selected in the top 100 or something like this. I took that and I went to office and my parents went home and that was that. But again, it's human nature. Like you expect even when the odds are against you. So even though I knew my interview was like not that great, and I was not really model material. But still, I had expectations. They had told us that if we get selected, so 20 people would get selected from these 100. And they had told us that if you get selected, you would receive a call. So when it was around 8 or 8:30, I was returning from office. I was on the bus on my way home. And still I hadn't received any calls. I was a bit bummed out. So my then boyfriend, now husband, we used to be on call. He used to go in the other direction. I used to go in the other direction. Our houses were on opposite directions of our office. So I started ranting and whining to him. We were usually on normal call, but that day we were on WhatsApp call because somewhere I had the expectation that they might call me. I was just contemplating on calling the person who had first called me to inform me that I had been shortlisted. I was just thinking of calling that person up when that person only called me. So the moment I received the call, I was like, okay, I know I've been selected. They said that you've been selected and that I had to report the next day itself. The next day was a Saturday, next 2 days were weekends, so that was not an issue. So I had to report on Saturday, and then it would be a week-long process. And every day I would have to report in the morning, and then they would leave us in the evening. So on Saturday, we went again to JW Marriott, and again in that disco, that gold. We were introducing ourselves to people as in our peers. The contestants were all talking to each other. It felt like a reality show. They served us lunch, and then they were briefing us on what to do, on what the events would be like, what our schedule would be like basically. Then on that day itself, they took our measurements. I think there was some sort of fitting that was supposed to happen the next day itself. So they took our measurements for making clothes for us for the finale. And that day was actually not a very long day. And next day onwards, we had to report in the morning and it would be a rigorous day. That is what they had told us. Next day was a Sunday. So I go to Marriott. So I have gone in my normal clothes. And I have not gone by car. I have taken the public transport. I got down from the bus and I was entering Marriott. The guard stopped me and he was like, where are you going? Like, it was so casual. I don't think I should have been that casual because after all, it was an event. It was a thing, right? So first time, you don't know what to do. So anyway, the guard stopped me and he was like, where are you going? So I said that there is this Deepti event happening. He's like, the guard just looks at me and he's like, okay. He judged me, I think, for the way I was looking going to a beauty pageant event. That was a sort of reality check moment for me, that is not how you present yourself in these sorts of events. That would be the day where we would meet our trainer or our groomer. So this person would tell us how to walk, how to talk for the big show. So I'm sitting by myself and some people already knew each other, or I don't know, they had just met there and were friends. I don't know how that was working. But I found another girl who was like me. She also was not really talking to anyone. And then I decided to go and talk to her because honestly, I was really intimidated by all the groups that were formed and like how they were styled and how they were carrying themselves. I was obviously nowhere near that. So I felt a little scared going up to them and talking to them. So I found someone quiet, and because I had to talk to someone, right? I couldn't survive those days otherwise. We started talking, we were exchanging numbers, we were talking about what we did, etc. etc. So then this groomer person comes and she asks each of us for an introduction, obviously all that. And then she asks each of us to walk on the ramp, how you would. Many people have walked on the ramp. The first thing, by the way, you should be doing when you are going to some modeling event or something like this is you should be carrying a pair of heels. I obviously don't own a pair of heels, and this is not at all something that I knew. So I was walking in flats. When I walked, the groomer just tore into me. First thing she said that, where are you coming from? So I told her that I'm coming from wherever I live. She's like, no, how do you not have the basic sense to carry heels when you're coming to a modeling event? And in front of everyone, she's saying this. I was a little taken aback. Then she's like, what is this kind of walk that you have just shown me? So I'm just looking at her blankly. I'm thinking, and all of this is happening in front of everyone. She's telling me, do you know you walk like a boy? And I knew that. But still, when it is being said in front of so many people, and these girls who are like well groomed and they know their shit basically, she has singled me out and said this. So I was thinking, oh my god, dig me an underground hole and I'll just go inside. So I actually literally felt like crying. I did not, because obviously I couldn't cry on the first day of that event. What would people think of me then? So I did feel like crying, but I was holding it in, and then I went to the washroom and I cried. Then I splashed some water on my face, and then I came back like it's nothing. Okay, fine, I can handle it. But when I got back home, so I'm a person who can take criticism, but if it is done in a positive way. If you are hounding me in front of people, it affects me. And in a way that it sort of gets in my head that I will have to prove this person wrong. I have to be better. So when I got home, before entering my home, first thing I did was I got a pair of heels from a shoe shop nearby. Then I took those heels, I wore those heels and I was practicing. Okay, she also told us how to do it. Not only was she insulting me, she also told me exactly what were the things that I needed to improve. My posture, the way I was putting my steps, all those things. So I made a mental note of all of that and I came back home and I was practicing in front of the mirror so that I just don't get insulted the next day in front of everyone. So the next day, I was totally expecting to be thrashed, but somehow next day was actually not about the walk anymore. Next day was about introducing yourself. When we went in, the first thing she asked us to do was write about a 5-minute introduction of ourselves, mug it up, and then she would pretend to be the judge, and we would have to like say it in front of her, and there were a few other people. So this part actually was not as scary, even though when I think of it now, public speaking is scary. But since I had had that experience the day before that, I was like, at least the talking part is where I might shine better than the walking part. I wrote an introduction and I said my speech, and she just pointed out a few things which could be better. But she did not really insult me. That day, the rage was directed towards some other people. So I was like, okay, that counts as a win. Then that day after that, she made us practice our walk also. But at that point, I somehow gained a little bit of confidence because I had introduced myself and I felt that the introduction was okay. And also I had practiced. So my walk got a little better also, I would like to think. So she didn't say anything to me. So I did the work. She was, I think, reprimanding a few others that day. I was not one of them. So then I came back home and again, somehow I had it in my mind that I would have to keep practicing my work so that I don't forget what all pointers she had given me. And again, she does not get the chance to insult me. So this was my motivation. Throughout the event, my motivation was that I don't want to get reprimanded in front of others. So the next day, we were actually supposed to go to Bhawanipur Design Academy or something. I don't remember that Bhawanipur Design School. So we had that, and then also we had another shoot for Senko Gold. I don't actually know what happened to those because we did do a lot of shoots during that time, but I never saw the pictures. But anyway, so we were asked to be in our best attire, come in sundresses or whatever dresses we had. My wardrobe wasn't that great. I don't think it's great now also, but at that point it was like really not great. So I was asked to wear a dress. I did not own one. So I had a skirt and a top which looked more like an office attire. I wore that and I went in. So mind you, everyone was wearing nice necklines, nice dresses. I had worn a mock neck neckline. That was the top. It was a bit shimmery and a pencil skirt. It is an office silhouette. First, in the first half, we went to Bhawanipur, and there actually the first day they had taken our measurements, and for that the dress fittings were being done at Bhawanipur. So when everyone had their dresses, everyone was trying on everyone had a customized dress, and that is what they were supposed to wear. So when they gave me my dress, it was very short in length. So they took measurements of my body. They did not account for the length, I think. So it was supposed to be like a gown. I'll try to find a picture of it somewhere if I get it. I have actually lost most of the pictures, but still whatever I have, I'll try to find and put pictures over here. So it was supposed to be a gown. So a gown is supposed to be, the basic thing is supposed to be its floor length. If it is not floor length, it looks very awkward. So the finale was, I think, coming up in 2 days, but my gown was not even coming up to my ankle. And some people were looking so beautiful. It was all pink. The theme was pink. And some people were looking so beautiful. And I was there standing awkwardly, looking like I don't know what. My hair was done. It was like up in a ponytail. and I was wearing that dress which was supposed to look like a lotus, but I don't know what it was looking like, and it was not even ankle length. I was looking very bad, and it was supposed to be a photo shoot also. It's not like just a dress fitting. Like Ishomai, the paper had come, the photographers from the paper had come, and they clicked our pictures, and those pictures only got published where everyone was looking nice and I wasn't looking that nice. Just my luck. After the dress fitting, then we were supposed to have lunch. We came back to Marriott again, and then after that we went to this jewelry store, Senko Gold. Here also, just think of my luck. So I did not know that there was supposed to be a jewelry shoot. I have worn a mock neck. Okay, so just remember this thing. It's a jewelry shoot. I have worn a mock neck. So when we went to the store, it was Senko Golds and Diamonds, right? So most of the girls who have worn nice necklines, they've worn spaghettis and they've worn normal necklines. They've been given diamonds because with Western wear, that is what I think suits the most, diamonds. For me, since I was wearing a mock neck which was silver in color, so that means the diamonds wouldn't work, right? So they gave me, and the person who was doing this thought it was a great idea. So this person has given me a chain, like a gold chain, a thick gold chain, and some gold earrings. And I was supposed to be wearing that sitting at a desk on a laptop. Like a working woman is wearing that gold jewelry is I think what they were trying to portray. And when I looked at myself in the mirror with that, I was like, who is ever going to buy this after seeing this picture? And the photographer from Aishamoy, he was also clicking pictures of everyone. When he saw me, he also couldn't control his laughter. So both of us were laughing. When he was supposed to click the picture, I am also laughing, he is also laughing. Anyway, that though, I don't think they used that picture. So after that, we sort of had a contest where we were supposed to design some sort of jewelry for Senko. Very smart. So they gave us a pen and a paper and they asked us to draw some jewelry, like whatever design comes to mind, like that. I drew a men's ring, not even a women's ring. I just drew a band and a stone on top. That is the jewelry I could think of. No, first I did not think that it was a men's ring. I just drew a ring because that was the easiest to do. Then the person is asking me, what is this? Is this a men's ring or a women's ring? So I thought if a person has to ask this, then that must mean that it is looking like a men's ring. So I was like, it's a men's ring. And then he was like, oh, okay, so you chose the easiest thing to draw. Yeah. The next day, in the first half, we had a photo shoot. It was for some store, I don't remember. It was some city style or city mart or something like that. So there also we had to do some hair and makeup. So this hair and makeup team was with us throughout. And every day I used to go in without makeup because I thought that if I go in with a blank canvas, they would be able to do my makeup the best. Others were coming in with makeup and I went in without makeup. Again, big mistake because they were using footage from that practice. They were uploading it on Instagram, they were uploading it on their channels, and even on the finale, they showed the footage from those practice sessions where I was looking like I don't know what. We were getting our hair and makeup done, and we were supposed to wear clothes from that brand itself. We could choose the clothes, but it had to be from that brand. So I got hair and makeup done, and then I chose the outfit that I wanted to wear. The outfits were like casual Western wear. So from there only I chose whatever I wanted to wear, and it had to be approved after that, obviously. That was the photo shoot day. So I don't have the pictures. It is actually in my personal laptop, but I'll try to find it and put it here. So by photo shoot day, I mean your single pictures were going to be clicked that day. I am horrible at posing, and it was a professional photo shoot. So when I got thrust into that there was this background and I had to stand in front of it and pose. I think I was crying. In the pictures, it's looking like someone has put me on gunpoint and I'm just crying. My face was just like this. I have posed for a personal photo shoot from a professional photographer. What was wrong with me? So my pictures came out horrible. The photographer is asking me to change my pose, do this, do that. I'm doing those with my hands, and in my mind I'm thinking I'm smiling a lot. But when the pictures actually came out, I was like, shit, what the hell was I doing? So finally the photographers clicked a few pictures and then they also gave up. Then they tried clicking a few candids. So, like I said, I had one friend. So I was just talking to her on. So in Marriott, there's a pool, right? There's an infinity pool that looks over Ma, and by the pool there were two chairs. So I was sitting in one chair and she was sitting in another chair, and we were just chatting. So it is totally like Chandler from Friends. Okay, so we were just chatting, and when I was chatting with her, I'm pretty sure I was normal at that point. So then I think the cameraman spotted this, and he just came in to click a few shots. I got conscious because the way the shots came out, it was like this was a candid shot. I was speaking to her, but also I was aware that someone is clicking my pictures, so my expressions automatically changed to horrible expressions. And finally, I think they asked me to pose with two other girls, like in a group, and then they clicked my pictures, and those pictures came out in the newspaper the next day. But there also I wasn't looking particularly nice, but it was still better than my single and candid shots. This was the first half of the day. Then I think we had lunch, and after that we were supposed to have another grooming session. So that day also I think my walk was okay. She did not reprimand me, the groomer. She was just like, yeah, fine. She did not make any comment on me. Then my walk must have improved at least a little bit. She is at least not insulting me in front of others. Then came the next day, and this next day was just the day before the finale. So this was like the final practice. That day I don't know what happened to me. When we started walking, we were practicing our walks. There was a particular choreography that we had to follow, and that day also we had another fitting, but that was in the second half. A contest would be like top 20, top 10, top 5, top 3. On that day, somehow something got into me, and I was like, I think I peaked that day. I was walking like too good, like a professional model probably. And this is on video as well. I don't know if I have the video. I'll try to look for the video because I had it for a long time. I used to look at that video and feel good because I was walking so confidently.
Clap, please. Yeah, he's a changed person. Now, from here, what did you do?
So, like I said, we had a fitting also on the same day. So this fitting was for the top 10, and this top 10 dress only would be carried forward for top 5, top 3, etc. This is a bit tricky, right? Because we don't know who the top 10 contestants would be. So our groomer, she sort of made a list of the top 10 people whom she thought would go into the finals, like the top 10. So she selected them, and among them also I was also there. So this fitting was for lehengas, and this was by Abhishek Ray. The lehengas were actually absolutely beautiful. We went to the bathroom and we were just changing. Each of us got assigned one lehenga, and suppose it was not fitting us, so they would stitch it up according to our measurements, but also in a way so that if we don't qualify for the final, they could open the stage and someone else could wear it. So we were all changing in the washroom, and everyone was looking at their own lehenga tag. Each lehenga was around 1.5 to 2 lakhs. I've never worn anything that expensive in my life ever again. That was the only time. And like I said, that day I was confidence pro max. Then the choreography for top 10 was only done because we had so many shoots and all in between. The choreography could not be completed till top 5 and top 3. So she had kept it for the last day. And by last day, I mean the finale. So on the finale, we were asked to report very early in the morning. There would be hair and makeup, there would be our clothes, and then there would also be this choreography. For this choreography, what our groomer had first planned, in between there was also another fitting. I've had the maximum number of fittings, I think, at that point. So this fitting was for shoes. So it was heels, like these big heels from House of SL. Oh, I missed this also. We had also gone to House of SL for our photo shoot. So I don't remember on which day we had gone to House of SL in Triangular Park. It had just opened. A photo shoot happened over there as well. They were also our sponsors, this Senko and House of SL. Then we had a shoe fitting for House of SL shoes. The shoes had this much heels. So I did not know that we could bring those shoes back. Not like I would have worn them anyway, but I left those shoes in the contest itself. The day of the finale, so I remember I sat for makeup a little late, I think. Many people already had their makeup done, and I did not have my makeup done yet. Only my base was done, my eye makeup and something else was remaining. At that time, we were supposed to go and practice our final choreography for that top 5, top 3, those things. So what our groomer did at that point was, she had thought that she would include everyone in this. She would teach this top 5 choreography, top 3 choreography. Since there was a time crunch, she decided that she would only teach the choreography to the people whom she thought would qualify for those. So first was the top 5 choreography. She selected me for that as well. So there was this choreography that we practiced. Then from the top 5, the top 3 would be called out. So in which order and how the people would go and pose, she wanted to teach us that as well. So there also in top 3, she made me the first runner-up. She did not make me the winner, which is fine. But she made me the first runner-up. So she was thinking I would be the first runner-up. I would be in top 3. Obviously, this happening right before the contest put me on cloud 9. I became overconfident as fuck. Imagine this, the girl who had been said that she walks like a boy on the first day, and I almost cried that day. Now this groomer has thought that I would actually make it to the top 3. So imagine my overconfidence. I go to the hair and makeup section. Everyone's hair was being done in a particular way and by the main hairstylist's assistants. For me, the main hairstylist came to do my hair. So my makeup was also done by the main person, and the hairstyle was also being done by that person. For my makeup, he gave me false eyelashes, and I think that is the best that I've ever looked. I'll put a picture of it. I was really happy with my makeup. And then for my hair also, he came to do my hair, which again made me feel like I'm going to win this contest no matter what. I'm the prodigal model who is just waiting to break through. It was the first time I was also seeing myself like that. Finally, then the top 20 choreography was happening. There were 2 outfit changes, all that happened. I introduced myself. And then I made it to the top 10. In top 10 also, my outfit was designated. I wore that outfit and I walked the ramp. At that point only I understood actually. So my lehenga, even though it was fitted to me, still it was a little loose at the waist because they had to keep that because they did not know who would make it to the top 10, all those things. So it was a little loose. I realized that my walk wasn't really perfect. And then in the top 10, there came a round where the judges were supposed to ask us questions. And the judges were Srijit Mukherjee, Porombrata Chattopadhyay, Pauli Dam. I don't remember if Raima was there. Koel or Raima, someone was there. And then the owners of Senko and Sri Leathers, House of SL basically, they were there. The anchor was Shahib, so he was supposed to bring chits to us, and the contestants were supposed to pick up the chit, and then whoever name came up would ask them a question. So it started from my right side. So I was basically the second contestant. When it came to my turn, I picked Porombrata Chattopadhyay. So now the issue with Porombrata Chattopadhyay is, he is a great actor, he is a good filmmaker, all that. But we also know that he is too intellectual. So our groomer had prepared us for a few questions. I don't remember. She had prepared us for some tricky questions, some riddles or something like that. So I picked up his name and then I came forward. Porombrata was supposed to ask me a question. First thing he asked me was, what's your name? So I told him my name is Riddhi Acharya and I said it in English. Second question he asked me was, why are you speaking in English? This point many people have raised for my videos as well. I don't know. See, I speak in English because whenever there's something like some sort of formal event, even on video, I feel like the language should be English. There's no point, like I can easily speak in Bengali, but this is something that just happens. It's not a conscious choice. So even there, since I was thinking of it to be this event and in my brain, it is like a formal thing. Quite naturally, I spoke in English. So he asked me why English. I think I did not handle it properly. I don't remember what I said because I was so taken aback by the question. I was like, because many people were speaking in English. This is not a thing. Even the many contestants answered in English even after me. But he asked me why English, so I said something in the lines of, I have had my education in English, so that is what came to me naturally. Something like this, I said, which was not a great answer, obviously. Then I also said that English is a business language, it's a formal language, so that is why I chose it. But I can speak in Bengali as well. আমি বাংলাতেও সমানভাবে সাবলীল. So then he asked me, which school did you go to? He's like, oh, okay, okay, that's fine. That's all. That's all he asked me. I mean, he could have given me an opportunity to speak on something. Even in Bengali, it's not an issue. I'm very fluent in Bengali. I wish I could explain it better, but obviously I couldn't. And that was all that he asked me. And at that point only I knew I'm going out. After the entire event was done, when others were being asked questions like, why do you think women should have equal rights, and some sort of like nice questions that I could have elaborated on. So I was just posing on stage and listening to them, getting the opportunity to speak. Anyway, after the entire thing got over, I came backstage and the groomer was just looking at me like this with disappointment in her eyes. So then I went outside, and there was a nice dinner, there was a nice buffet, and I also saw who was being crowned. She was not in the top three, as far as I remember. She was not in the top three that the groomer had chosen. But like, she was also very nice in her answers, the way she was carrying herself. She deserved to win. There was also an after party, but I think that would have been too late, and my parents were also there. And after that, I'll just like to say this: my perception towards makeup and fashion entirely changed, because I saw how I could look with makeup and proper dressing and a little bit grooming. Like, obviously, I'll never look that good like I looked after having professional grooming, but still, I try to take care of myself. Like, I took more interest in makeup and fashion. I think I would like to give this credit to this beauty pageant that I was a part of. It was a great lifetime experience, and it also sort of changed my perception towards things.